Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, if you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, we are back with another closed beta testing review, giving my honest impressions on a new upcoming gacha. This time it's going to be on Kaleido Writer. Now, I didn't get sponsored or anything, I didn't get partnered or get early access or anything. I just got lucky to get into this closed beta testing, so that's just awesome. But before we get started, I do want to give a quick preface, is that this was literally just meant for phones. Not even emulator is supported. I had to go through so many loopholes right now to get this working. I had to access my email via an emulator using LD Player. That was the only one that could work, so I can get access to it through the Google Play Store there. So emulator is not working right now, especially for PC, and there is no PC port yet. They did say that will be happening soon, but right now, even the emulator is not even officially supported. So when you see stuff and if it looks weird or it looks way too sharp or something, please, this is all also in the closed beta testing. But at the same time, I'm using something that's not going to be reflective of what you're going to see on mobile. On mobile, it looks a lot better, trust me. Now that being said, the way I like to break this down, I want to try to talk about the story, the game modes, everything you're going to be able to see. I want to talk about the characters and everything, and then get down to talking about the gacha. So with all that being said, timestamps for wherever you want to go down below. But as always, thank you for supporting me. So let me scoot on over. Let's get started, because right now, first thing that I want to talk about is talking about the story. And story-wise for me, I'm not going to spoil much for you guys, just in case you do want to play this game in the future. I only finished the first 2 chapters. I haven't had time, obviously, with university, but I have played this as much as I could. And for the story, it's actually kind of nice. It almost reminds me of like Persona, but the way that the story works, it uses elements of JJK, if you've ever watched Jujutsu Kaisen. It uses the idea of curses kind of like that to manifest the enemies from the people's emotions. So the way that curses work with negative emotions in this, it's technically called hysteria, but it's a fun little gimmick, so I think it's cool. I know it's hard nowadays because everything comes from somewhere, so like completely original ideas is hard to come by, but still, I'm enjoying the story, the characters. One thing that's interesting about this game, though, when it comes to the story that I want to give credit for, is that it doesn't block any progression for any side content. What I mean by that is that the story is actually separate from everything else. You can just play the story at your leisure. And with the actual gameplay throughout the story, it uses the story characters without any progression levels, is what it looks like. So it's kind of cool, in my opinion, that you can see the characters play in the story. They talk within the gameplay as well. So you don't really need to worry about it throughout the story. Now, that could be a good or bad thing depending on if you want to see your characters take the place in the gameplay within the story, kind of like how Nikkei is, where they'll showcase the story, but then in the gameplay, it's all your other rosters. That doesn't happen here. So that can be a good or a bad depending on your viewpoint. Now, for the main character, the navigator, I actually enjoy his presence, but the way that they structure the 3D cutscenes and everything, it almost feels like this like slice of life anime at times. So it's a shame that the protagonist doesn't have a voice, and I understand why they don't give him a voice, because he's meant to be a self-insert. Now for me, I really don't care about self-inserts, and I actually think it would work really good in this game if he had a voice, because he just has like his occasional like grunts here and there, but I feel like at times it was a missed opportunity to give him a voice to add more level of depth to the story and the characters, but that's just me. But outside of the story, what can you expect for other game modes? In terms of other game modes, first things first, I need to get this out of the way because this is a big one, especially for this, is the linking. So the way that it works with linking, obviously you bond with your characters, you give them items, you rank them up. There are the link levels here to show you what you need to do in order to reach those levels. And some characters, not all of them, currently have a dating feature right now. And they also have personal stories that you can watch. Kind of like the bond stories that you see in Nikkei, but there's more to it in the sense that there is a dating mode. Now, this dating mode is really cute. I actually enjoy it a lot. I really love Prom, and you get attempts at it depending on where you are with your level ups, and there are going to be different areas that you can take your characters with you as well. experience this. Now, right now, it's kind of limited, obviously, for this closed beta test. So when we're talking about the actual dating sim itself, the fact that it is 3D when you play is actually great. It's not just like a visual novel or anything. And what I love are the interactions and the different scenes that you can get through the dialogue. But through those different dialogues, you also get different types of heart emotions, these colors that you see here. The pinks, the yellows, the blues, and the greens. Now, all of these, when you fill up that heart meter, and you get a certain color combo, as you can see here, you will unlock a romance scene. And those romance scenes trigger these love-struck moments, which is what you can see here. And rewatch, some of them I have locked, because I haven't unlocked that kind of art yet. And that's something that I find frustrating, is that this cute little mode is also kind of annoying, just in the sense that you have to deal with this mechanism and try to get the right dialogue to get these hearts up. But overall, I think it's really cute. It could use some work, but I feel like a lot of the detail here is great, and I know a lot of people are going to enjoy this. And I feel like they put more heart into this than the actual gameplay, where it feels way more auto, and for me that's fine. But I know a lot of complaints have been towards the somewhat lackluster gameplay, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But outside of the full dating spot, one thing that I do want to talk about that, once again, I find really enjoyable is the field. Now, I did a lot of this field. There's a lot that you can do here, and it's almost like this open area to do random events and stuff. However, when you clear this first area, there are like some training spots that you can do, but you can also find, you know, lost items, lost relics. And this is a case where I want to say this is very annoying, is that you can't find them. There's no radius like there are like now in Nikke. This is like launch version of Nikke relics. Like, it's hard to see them, and there's only one right here. I don't know if you saw it. If you go back, you can see that shine. That was an item right there that you can find. That's very frustrating. They're very hard to find. So that's one thing that I feel like the Kaleido writer team needs to work on, is to make sure that those lost items are more easily visible, because especially with this pale white open map, it can be hard to see that like little glitter glare. But what I want to talk about is City Patrol before we talk about something, because City Patrol is the roguelike mode for this game. It's another roguelike, but what makes this more unique is the amount of detail that they put into this roguelike mode, just like the dating mode. And it's what I want to give them credit for. Because, yes, this is your typical get random characters set up, there's going to be random events to try to progress and then go through combat. But what sets this apart is that there's random events that are 3D animated, involving all the different characters, and there's almost like this RNG succession in order to get those by using a certain type of characters in your roster lineup. Other characters have different symbols, meaning that you'll be able to have different succession rates depending on your lineup. And to have that with also having 3D interactions, I just think is really, really cool. I can see where the dev team is trying to put a lot of their focus on, is to just have a lot more replayability when it comes down, especially to this roguelike mode. So I will give them credit for that. But to go back really quick to the field, one thing that I want to talk about is the farming. It took forever to clear like 50% to unlock this area to start farming, because farming is pretty bad early on. It's really tedious. So hopefully they improve that going forward. But this is just the farming area. So in a way, this is where I'm going to show you the gameplay really quick. And right now you can see that you use 6 stamina. This does have stamina, unfortunately. You can choose your lineup, select who you want to be your captain. You can get an idea of what they'll do as captain for the team. And then let's say you hit start. This is the gameplay. It's going to be an auto, so I can just talk about it real quick because it's going to be more simple for me that way. Now, you can choose to play this in auto or not. And I'm going to be honest, for me, it's just way better just playing in auto because I don't have to worry about anything. This is the little intro cutscene, and it's pretty cute. And I do like the backdrops a little bit. It looks weird and stuff. But the gameplay itself, one of my biggest disappointments is the enemy variety that you get. It's almost just like enemy fodder, really, which is a shame. But the way that it works is almost like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like card deck, and then you select the cards, and then you get to use them on your enemy. And there are elements. There's obviously, in this case, it was like the hearts and stuff. Those are a type of element, especially for your character, which is great. But as you can see, it's really easy to just kind of forget about the gameplay. It's flashy and it looks good, but it's also very auto-friendly. But for me, that's a great thing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care if I don't play it. That's fine. I know some people will have their reservations on that because they actually want to play their game, which is fully understandable. It's all up to preference at this point, and I know that's a big gripe for a lot of people because this game could be perfect, but it looks like the gameplay did take a step back for the devs for a little bit. Now, while we're here in Field Purge, The other thing that I want to talk about is Pest Buster. Pest Buster is almost just like your multiple team against the boss kind of thing. I will give them credit for this. Even though the enemies for the gameplay, like normal farming maps, are forgettable, the actual bosses with the stages and all, I think are really cool. I think they're really unique and they look great. They're flashy, they look great, and at least that's where they highlight some of the strengths of how the game can look with the enemies and stuff. But with the overall normal enemies, I feel like that's where it's really lackluster. But right now, I feel like we need to talk about something, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. The characters in this game, for the most part, look phenomenal. Here's my favorite character, Rusi. For a reason. For a reason, this mommy right here is my favorite character. I love Rusi. She looks good. Now here's the thing though, this game does have a lot of stuff because it has the motorcycles, which are technically the weapon of this game. There's going to be the badges over here, which you can use for your characters, which is the gear. And there's also skills. So it can be a lot. But right now, I want to focus on the characters because they look great. I wish I could do a rotation for you guys. That's one thing I need to say, guys. Kaleido Writer team, please let me rotate the 3D models. The fact that I can't is criminal. I want to do a full 360 view. They look good. But we're going to go through down the roster because I have a lot of the characters. We got Hakure here. She looks great too. I love her colors. Honestly, fantastic. Great look. Once again, I want to do a 3D rotation throughout the whole thing, but I can't. So that's a shame. My second favorite character is Maliere. And I love this idol chick, okay? She's great. Look at her. Fantastic proportions. She looks really, really good. I will give them credit for that. She looks great. Another favorite character for me is Mista. And Mista was the rate up for this CBT. And I will say her ultimate skill, they highlight her armpit and feet. So I'm just saying this game can be cultured. This game can be cultured. And she looks cute. Honestly, probably a top favorite character right there. She's probably arguably number 2 because she looks great. Another character I got is Shikibu, which is great looking. Dude, the assets in this game, man. The mommies look great in this game. Seriously. Like, it's not just all, like, cutesy and stuff. They look great. We got Akiko. Akiko looks cool, too. I love the bikes, too. I think that's one thing I have to say is that the bikes look cool. It's a shame that they are going to be a part of the gacha. So that's also a teaser to what's to come with talking about that. And then we also have Prom. Prom is definitely the main character in this game in terms of, like, your partner. And I love Prom. She's great. I did a lot of my dating interactions using Prom. She's phenomenal. Then we also have Adodol, if that's how you pronounce it. I have trouble pronouncing her name, but she's pretty cute. This is also kind of like one of the standard characters that you see throughout the game. She's cute as well, but I really like Zola. Zola is really, like, hot, dude. She looks great. Fantastic looking character, in my opinion, once again. It's a shame that I can't do a full rotation, but I'll survive. Another one of the main characters, sorta, is Nana. And this is her swimsuit that she got. Looks great. Once again, wish I could appreciate the backside, guys. A lost opportunity here. And we also have Yusi, which she looks cool, but I don't really care for these type of characters, obviously. But she does look really cool. And then we have Mihaya. Mihaya's pretty cool, too. I love her. She's great. She looks cool. Maid. I love it. Then we got Siro. Siro's cute, clumsy. I appreciate it. She's also, like, really, like, flustered. It's adorable. Another mommy is Hazuki. Looks fantastic. The jiggles looking really, really nice. I appreciate that in my game. But with all these great looking characters and everything, what's the gacha looking like? Let's talk about the gacha. So I had enough experience with this gacha right now to give my honest thoughts. And I will say, I'm actually kind of surprised. It's not as bad as it could be. And what I mean by that is that when it comes down to it, out of all of this chicken scratch that you see here, the important part to understand is that this is a 0.8 guaranteed. There is no 50-50 for this character. It is a 0.8 guaranteed, which is fantastic. I know 0.8 is still low, but the fact that it's guaranteed is a big win, especially for people who really only care about the actual characters. Like, mostly me. Honestly, the bikes look cool, but I feel like they're going to be second to none. And before I forget, I do want to say that for this 0.8 guaranteed, it is 80 pulls. So it's not like it's at 100 or anything for the guaranteed. It's still 80 pulls, which I feel like is almost standard when it comes to the big top games right now. So that's interesting. But when it comes down to the bikes, they are a different gacha percentage, and the rate up's different. And I thought it was interesting. So for this, it's 50 pulls, and it's a 2%. However, this 2% comes with a 50-50. Now, you can take that with what you will. The 2% sounds great. The 50-50 can sound scary. So, don't really know how that's going to work. I feel like that's more interesting that they put that 50-50 for the bikes. But I still think it's decent for what it is. It's kind of expensive, sure, but it could be more expensive. The gacha was more of a surprise for me than anything. And when it comes to the standard characters, similar to the S, it's a 0.8 with a guarantee as well at 100 pulls though. Now, although it's 100 pulls, it says right here you can select an S-class character through the wish system, and this is how I was able to get a lot of the characters that you were able to view. Was I was able to just go in and select from here and grab the characters. Now, obviously I didn't go for the lolly over here. It's not my interest. That's fine. I wanted to try to go for this character and I couldn't. It's 100 pulls with, you know, trying to get that 0.8 spark. There is a pity, but it's, you know, how it is with the gacha. Now, the bikes feel a little bit different because even though there is a wish list, you can only choose 3 of them, and it's a 50% chance to receive one of the 3 bikes that you chose, and they have an equal probability. So I feel like it's more annoying to get the normal bikes through here, even with the 2% and the 50 pulls. But still, I don't mind that it's 2%. I feel like kind of conflicted. Like, I want to say it's rough, but at the same time, it's not as bad. I just think Girls Frontline 2 ruined me, my expectations when it came to these type of gachas. I know a lot of people play like other Hoyo games, so they're like, damn, this is good, right? But it's all a matter of perspective and what you play. Because if you play games like Nikke and Lost Sword or Brown Dust 2, you think this is like horrible, right? So it's definitely a matter of perspective on what kind of gacha player you are. But I want to show off the animation real quick. So let's say if we're trying to pull for, I don't know, let's say I'm trying to get the character. I have 38 calls to guarantee the S. Let's see if we could get it sooner. You need 1,000 of these crystals to do it, which I have just enough for. So that's great. So let's get started and let's try to show you the animation. Maybe I'll get it here. Do a little phone call, and then let's say I want to get lucky. So 777, baby. Lucky bunnies. Let's go. S? No S. So this is the animation. The animation looks cute. You get an idea of who the characters are, and there's a little bit of an interaction to it. I think it's cute. I think it's really flashy and stuff, and it's adorable. It gives me ZZZ vibes a little bit, just with the way that they light up, like kind of like the TVs. But that's just me. But overall, I had a pleasant time with this game. I didn't feel like conflicted at all. Like, for me with Anchor Panic, it definitely felt a little disappointing, especially for, you know, a 2025 release. This feels really promising, and I believe right now there is no pre-registration or a release date, so they are still cooking this game. But with what I've seen, I'm gonna keep this game in mind in the future because it has my attention. I like a lot of it. I love the characters. I can't wait to see how it goes. The gacha's not as bad as I thought it would be, so I've been pleasantly surprised. And if you got to play it or see anything, let me know what your thoughts are. Are you gonna be interested in this game? Did I get you interested? What are you looking forward to? Let me know. That is going to be it from me. So I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from. And as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care and have a good one.